Right there everyone, and welcome back to the channel, where you will notice I've had a haircut. Yep, I've gone for the quintessential buzz cut for lockdown. It seems to be a bit of a trend nowadays with that being a thing now, so I thought, yeah, why not? Not just because it's a trend, but because I generally did need a haircut. It was sprouting quite badly. We're here to talk about the Premier League, and apparently it will not be returning. I've seen that on the Sports Bible that it will not be making a return. My previous video was about whether or not the Premier League will make a return in a Star Wars sort of theme of the return of the Premier League. And of course, well, not of course, it's not actually been fully confirmed. Like I said, it was on the Sports Bible, not posted on some like reliable source like Sky Sports is a bit of hit and miss, I suppose you could say, or One Football, which I use for all of my latest football videos. But there is something which I've seen it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant what I've seen here, and that is Jordan Henderson is setting up a COVID-19 fund for the NHS. Apparently he's been trying to get in contact and trying to talk and get is a ban the right word of saying it, I suppose? I don't know. He's basically just got in contact with all the Premier League captains and tried to get them to fund and take part in this fundraising for the NHS, which apparently is going to raise millions. And Liverpool fans have taken to social media networking site Twitter to applaud their captain Jordan Henderson for his incredible gesture in setting up funds for NHS. Football has taken a backseat following the coronavirus pandemic, and thousands of people are losing their lives across the world. In the UK, the scenario isn't different, and the country is under lockdown at the moment. So it is awful to see this happening. I mean, UK has just hit the highest number of deaths in one day, almost 700, which is it's just sad to see. It really is just sad to see. My thoughts go out to the families and friends that were affected by that. In a crisis situation like this, footballers and the football clubs are trying their best to help the authorities as much as possible. Liverpool skipper has taken a great initiative to organise a coronavirus fund that will raise millions of pounds for the NHS, and it is just a brilliant scheme. Well, I suppose, yeah, just brilliant organisation that Jordan Henderson is doing. I suppose most of us, well, I certainly do, give a lot of stick to Jordan Henderson, saying he's quite vanilla, boring, plain Jane sort of thing. This initiative he has taken is brilliant. It's glad to see the footballer doing more and more and more of all the millions and millions and millions of pounds that are pumped into the Premier League especially. And I've seen also has been confirmed that footballers are taking a 30% reduction in their wages. Does that apply to, however, Newcastle United? Because I've seen something which is really angered me, it's really annoyed me, and I'm not even a Newcastle United fan. And that is apparently Mike Ashley, who is of course he's the owner of Newcastle and the owner of Newcastle United and the owner of Sports Direct. Apparently he has cut all the wages, just stopped all the wages of all his staff, apart from footballers who are getting paid in full, and it's just disgusting for the fact that he's doing that. So I just don't get it. Like, he has got like hundreds of millions of pounds. He's just literally doing this just for a few extra quid in his back pocket. Why? What's the point? What is actually the point? What is he actually getting out of doing that? It's just something which it's just so frustrating. I can't even get my words out. It's just that. And going back to this 30% reduction that Premier League footballers are taking, I mean, that's just a ton. That's like a little speck of dust of a reduction compared to how much they actually earn a week. Some of these are on like 50 to like £300,000 a week, and they're only having a poxy 30% reduction. It should be, I think I heard that apparently Barcelona are taking a 70% reduction, which is good. And football has just got so much money invested in it, and especially all the players that are making all that money as well. I saw there was a quote posted by the Sports Bible again on Facebook that apparently Carlos Tevez said that the Premier League, they could do so much more for this pandemic that's going about. We got so much more money, and we're just not doing enough. I mean, there's been footballers who have been donating millions upon millions of pounds so far, such as Pep Guardiola, who has donated, I think it's like just under £1 million out of his back pocket. I'm not just being biased and saying that, just only mentioning him is just because that generally is the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head is what he's done and what he's contributed. It's just a very good point that Tevez had to make, and also this, I mean, they could easily take a 70, even 80% reduction in their wages, and they'd still be better off than most people in the United Kingdom who have a usual 9 to 5 job, or just any other normal job where they're not paid like 20 grand, 50 grand, £300,000 a week. It's just ridiculous. And so I feel as though the reduction needs to be increased rather than just stay at a poxy 30%. So let's just have a look here, because it does mention, of course, about Liverpool fans that have been respecting and talking about Jordan Henderson with what he's doing during this pandemic. So let's just have a look here at some of the quotes. These are just screenshots here on OneFootball, which again there'll be a link down to in the description box below about OneFootball. Brilliant football source. If you want to get any updates on what team, what your favourite league, your favourite nation, whatever, OneFootball in the description box. You can't go wrong. There's one tweet here that says, "Of course he did. Captain of European champions, captain of champions elect, likely PFA player of the year, now captain of Premier League and leader of men, Jordan Henderson. Jurgen Klopp deserves as much credit as Hendo for this transformation." And that, I see where he's coming from. I mean, the transformation of how good it's just frustrating to say it really about how good Henderson has been as a captain, but I've mentioned it before in my video when I was talking about Harry Maguire being made permanent captain of Man United, that I was rating all the other captains of all the other Premier League teams out of 10. Henderson I gave the highest one of a 10 out of 10, even though I did rate Kevin De Bruyne highly for being captain of Man City. Jordan Henderson, in my opinion, still is the best. He's the best captain this season, no doubt about that. Anyway, moving on. Let's not get bogged down with rivalry. Let's just have a look at all these positive feedback. This is another one. It says, "Jordan Henderson is not only a wonderful footballer, he's got better recently, but a couple of years ago, nah, bit debatable. Legendary Liverpool football club captain. Yeah, I'd say so. Is he up there with the likes of, well, to be fair, he is pretty much up there with the likes of Steven Gerrard. I mean, Gerrard never won a Premier League title. Liverpool very nearly did win a Premier League title, and a comfortable win as well. And he's also one hell of a human being, which is true. He really is. I mean, just the leadership and everything, especially in 2018 World Cup, he was absolutely brilliant with his leadership, and he wasn't even the captain as well, which is just brilliant. Jordan Brian Henderson, my captain, as another Liverpool fan. Didn't realise his name was Brian. That's a very English name, innit? Brian. I like that a lot. It's very easy to criticise, but let me tell the people who don't understand yet, as a football player, Jordan Henderson is like your mother. Really? Okay. You don't realise how much she does for you until she is not there doing it. That's a bit deep, that is. I mean, I understand where he's coming from, this one football fan, but that's pretty deep, that is. That's a bit touching. Is that the right word? I don't know. So we've had a look at that. Let's just move on. And this is about what Kevin De Bruyne has said about whether or not the Premier League would return, what kind of effect it would actually have on football fans. So, coronavirus. De Bruyne recommends voided season amid injury fears. Kevin De Bruyne believes Premier League teams would be hit by an instant injury crisis if the 2019-20 campaign is swiftly resumed, and feels cancelling the season might be a better option. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, football fans of different clubs, they'll say, oh, of course he'll say that. Just because City are so far behind, of course he'll say, oh, he believes that the Premier League should be cancelled because they're 25 points with like 3 games in hand behind Liverpool, yada yada yada, and just all that sort of malarkey. I like to use that word a lot, malarkey, because it is just is. Anyway, on that, I feel as though that is kind of true, because of course everyone will be at home chilling, just relaxing during this pandemic, and making a swift return would probably cause some injury, cause some backlash, I suppose you could say, to all the players. And apparently we're just waiting to see whether or not it is fully confirmed that the Premier League will be cancelled, or bit of fluff, or whether or not it will resume. In my opinion, I've said this before and I'll say it again, it should be cancelled, purely because, of course, with what's going on, it's probably just is the best option to do, because of course there's more things, important things focus on like this and like that organisation that Jordan Henderson has set up, which is brilliant, setting up for the NHS. And it's glad to see also, when was it, on Thursday at 8 PM, there was a big round of applause for the NHS. I can't imagine what it must be like to be a worker in hospitals during this difficult time, stressed out that you might catch it, but also hearing that applause as well, no idea. And it must be touching, put that way, it must be touching. But to see all this going on, to see possible cancellation of the Premier League, I feel as though it should be cancelled. And this organisation set up by Jordan Henderson, it just shows how brilliant he is as a person, and he doesn't really get much recognition as well, which beforehand was like fair enough, but now it's just, well, just all in all, I suppose you could say, just looking at the whole picture, not just this organisation, but the whole picture of Jordan Henderson, with his recognition not being quite there, even though Vincent Kompany deserves it so much better than him. But nah, respect to him. That's what I'm going to say here, straight up respect to that Liverpool player. Respect to him, because what he's doing is absolutely brilliant, and I hope it does raise millions and millions and millions of pounds, and this reduction just increases to like 70% reduction in footballers' wages just for something like this. So there we go, that's what I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you lot in a bizzle.